All right, all right. We are live again on Instagram. We're going to be on here again with Brother Shem. So it's going to be a lot of fun what we're doing. So looking forward to this particular session. So we're just kind of hang tight as a few people join. Really going to be talking about the power of our subconscious mind. And it's going to be a powerful session. We may not really understand how much power our subconscious mind has over us and really learn how to influence it. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're just kind of hanging tight here for a few moments. Allow a few people to come on board. Once again, we're live on IG Live. So we'll be getting started here in just a couple of moments. All right. I see Brother Shem has joined us. Let's go ahead and bring him through. This is definitely one of the sharpest brothers that I know. I love hearing him talk. We get into this mind science, and it's just an amazing conversation. There he is. What's going on, my brother, my brother?
Peace, brother. How you doing?
It's going extremely well. How are you doing?
Doing well.
Yes, yes. Yeah, we are gearing up to override many of these mind programs. I'm going to mute my line because I think that we got some distortion and some feedback. So, or I'll mute when you talk as well. So we definitely are going to be sharing some powerful things about the subconscious mind, some of the automatic programs that are conditioned within us. And a lot of times we wonder why we're not able to do certain things, and we keep running into some of the same issues. So it's a very important conversation. I wish I could say something different, but there is some conditioning and some programming that goes on that we don't understand. And when we do figure it out, we have to try to understand how to influence our subconscious mind so we can have a different experience. So, Brother Shem, I know you biting at the bit to share. What is your enthusiasm level about talking about the subconscious mind? And we're going to tie that in to the hollow mind perceiver on how we can access, first of all, shut down some of these automatic systematic programs and be able to move into our supramental access.
Well, I'm definitely excited. I just want to preference this by saying this is a very important topic, dealing with the subconscious mind. I think it's something that we don't speak enough about in terms of in this aspect of whether it's spirituality, whether it's with self-development, personal development, the subconscious mind, that's kind of like the uncharted territory. To preference this exactly by what we teach in more science, there's a saying that we deal with called "Go with mind into the land of fleshless things. Mind never does forget, and backward through the ages of time, masterminds can trace themselves, and thus they know." So that realm of the mind, the subconscious mind, which is really just when you say subconscious mind, conscious mind, you're dealing with aspects of the whole. And you even have the superconscious mind. That would be the subjective mind, basically. The subconscious mind. The conscious mind would be the objective mind. And in terms of how we process things through our five senses, dealing with the objects, right? So the conscious mind becomes kind of like the watchdog or the guard of the subconscious mind, where we have to be conscious of what we do in terms of the thoughts we plant in. Because in more science, we say the thought is the seed. So if the thought is the seed, then the subconscious mind is that soil that will grow, that fertile soil. It will grow whatever you put into it, regardless of whether it is fruit or whether it's poison. So we have to be mindful of that in that sense. So I'll just say that much, and I won't go too long, and I'll just pass it on to you, brother.
Hey, you could have kept going because it was just getting good. It was just getting good, man. And I love how you broke that down because we don't really think about these things and how we're influenced. And I equate the subconscious mind as a link to the automatic programs, the conditioning. And I tell you, it's really a delicate conversation, in my opinion, for this reason. In a simple explanation from my perspective, the subconscious mind records our behaviors, our attitudes, our dispositions, and plays it back to us in our reality every day. And the subconscious mind is really what draws our reality to us. And so why is that so significant? Because we don't know how it works. And so what happens is these things randomly show up in our experience. And we was like, oh man, I didn't want that experience. Maybe just God has a problem with me. let me just try again. Let me just try a different approach. And really what we've done, and I'm gonna say something here. I'm gonna make a bold statement, brother Shem, is that we don't really understand that the subconscious mind it mirrors the heart. Let me tell you how. A lot of what we go on in the subconscious mind, these are thoughts that's been repressed. For example, if you did something and you were ashamed of it, and you just kind of wanted to tuck it away in your head. You didn't want nobody to know about it or whatever. And I'm going to forget about it. I can't believe I ever did that, whatever. I'm ashamed. And we repress that energy. I want you to use the key thing. The key thing that I want you to know is we repress the energy. But the energy is still there. Remember, energy can't be created nor destroyed. And when we repress it, it's like we're judging it and we're ashamed of it in some kind of way. So we're tucking it away. Well, that also, this is why it's said, as a man or woman thinketh in her heart, then so is he or she. And for that reason, because now what's happening is those impressions are imprinted into the heart energy. Because it's not the judgment. Let me be clear about when I talk about judgment. If there's hatred or anger, it's not the ideal of hatred, it's the feeling of it, the blood boiling behind it. And so the heart then records the emotion of the thought that you're trying to repress. And so what happens, you really want to know what the law of attraction is. It deals a lot with the heart energy that goes out and what it receives from the subconscious mind. So a lot of us got a lot of cleaning up. We got a lot of shame and guilt in our mind that we've repressed and suppressed, and we feel some kind of way. We judge other people when they do the same thing. That ain't me and all this kind of stuff. And then, but we're dealing with this energy in the heart. And so that's why in Ma'at, they weigh the heart in one scale and then the ostrich feather in the other. You see? So now, and that means if your heart weighs more than the ostrich feather, right? Then you didn't live a wholesome life. You didn't live a pure life. And so you're going to have to come back here, and I like how High Priestess Ma'at talks about, you're going to have to come back here and you're going to have to do the juice boxes and the car seats in the next incarnation. So this is important that Brother Shem hit it right on the head, and all this is going on before it affects our conscious behavior and our conscious thoughts. So our conscious is supposed to guard the thoughts that are coming in, but because we're working with only a fractal of the mind that we have, the fractal of the power that we have, we don't see the subliminal message of sound that comes through. We don't see the subliminal messages of colors that come through and influence the subconscious mind. We don't know the emotion of anger and how it influences the subconscious mind. Remember, anything that we repeat or that we give emotion to is recorded in the subconscious mind, and it's going to play it back again in the form of our reality. And then it's up to us to say, okay, all right, I'm in a feedback loop. How do I get out? Brother Shem, what's your thoughts on some of the things I just shared, or how does that transition into, how you see this process unfolding?
Well, brother, everything you're saying is like, it really speaks to the work that we have to do with the subconscious mind. I like how you spoke about the impressions, because our subconscious impressions create our conscious expressions in the sense that what we put in, like you said, suppressed in the mind, it manifests outward. And I like what Indigo put in the comment about dealing with the changing the patterns that were in childhood. There's a brother who deals with the occult, Brother Penny. He speaks about 3 things that's used on us: trauma, repetition, and symbolism. And when we look at our childhood or any experience in the past, we can always see some sort of trauma or something that's beat down in our head, right? To make us have a negative self-image of ourselves. Like you said, the shame, the guilt. Like everybody's talking about this show called Stranger Things. All that deals is with the subconscious mind. Like that particular character that works on people through their guilt and their past things that they were ashamed of that lead to their death. It's the same thing that happens in real life. There's power of life and death in the word. So we have to be constant. That's why affirmations are very important. That's why the monks and other mystics use affirmations, because you affirming it, you making it firm. So you're bringing it from the subconscious, or what you call the abstract, to the consciousness or the concrete. In more science, we said salvation is a 3-step ladder: belief, faith, and fruition. Belief is lost in faith, and in fruition, faith is lost. So belief, you have to believe in yourself. That, like, I love what you said, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. In the heart, right? The center. So you think about this, right? They tell you what you believe, what you can conceive, and what you believe you can achieve, right? So the belief is the idea, the concept in your mind that you accept as reality before you know it to be reality or falsehood. That takes place whatever you plant in the subconscious mind. So if you've been programmed to think negatively about yourselves, and this is true about us as melanin dominant people, we've been fed these negative programs about ourselves and our image, right? Then we manifest that out in the self-hatred towards each other and how we treat the man and the woman, all that aspect, whether it's killing ourselves, subception to drugs and all these things are manifestations of ideas and concepts that are placed at a very early age. So we have to be responsible for reprogramming, if you will, the subconscious mind to change the paradigm of what we're dealing with. So I think that's just very important to what you said about that aspect. So I'll bring it back to you, brother.
Absolutely. Well, I love how you said the impressions create the expressions. And it's so, I love how you laying this out, because a lot of us don't look at this. We don't want to. We just keep tucking things away. We don't, it's not literally tucking, but we keep hiding things in our mind. So this is why, they say, those who, I know you teach more science with those who may have a Christian background. They say in the New Testimony, if you think it, you sin. And they don't really explain sin, missing the mark. They don't explain it as from an esoteric point of view. But first of all, if you are in a position, and we have all these images and that we see, every time we see a melanin dominant person, they're in handcuffs, or they're getting shot, or they're on the run or something like that. It's not the subconscious mind that we're dealing with too. We're dealing with a collective unconscious, and with the collective unconscious, all the different race variants are seeing that this is how melanin dominant people are treated. And so from that, we get now expressions from them that reinforces the images and deeply embedded into our psyche that this is This is the pressure that we got to work with on a daily basis, because not only is it in the images, it's in the expressions of the race variants. And so this is what creates quite a complex situation for us mentally. Every day we step out of these doors and we go out into the matrix and do what we do. It's very, very, very I'm glad we're having this conversation, because oftentimes we just kind of put a band-aid on things. We're trying to give a temporary fix for a permanent problem. And so I love how you was talking about the affirmations. And this is why those of you that take my classes at the Mimic School of Evolution, I'm big on focus. I'm big on repetition, being the mother of skill and the father of learning. That you have to train your subconscious mind to your current state of consciousness, right? Because you could, in your conscious mind, you could say, I want to stop smoking. Well, want isn't an action word. It's not strong enough to overturn the subconscious mind. You have to have a willingness to focus until you and have a compelling reason why you don't need to do that anymore. And you need to focus on not being able to do it. And you have to affirm it. You have to repeat, different behaviors to make sure that you don't get back in the habit. Remember, the psychology behind what we do is that we're habitual beings. So once we get you leaning, so people who master manipulating people, right? Once they get you leaning and figure out what your needs are, right? They'll get you, hey, it's okay just to take a drink. Hey, it's okay just to take a drug. Hey, it's okay, to do this sex thing, out of order. Okay. But guess what? Once it get a little bit turns into a lot. And then it creates a desire, right? And once we meet into a desire or an addictive level of something, the emotions and the subconscious has completely directed the subconscious. Your wish is my command. This is exactly what we're going to do, because this is what you want. This is what you give the most emotion to and the most repetition to. And it starts happening automatically. You see? And so we got to reverse that process. And that's what people are having a struggle doing. Even people who are studying, they're taking classes, they're learning different things about their brain, their mind, but they haven't learned how to deal with his subconscious. And that's why, Brother Shem, I would guess that he said this is a very important topic. We should have gobs of people on here, because right now their subconscious minds are in control of their experience. Their subconscious mind is in the driver's seat of their life. And they kind of asking, hey, can you turn left? No, you can't turn left. Remember, you like this stuff, and this is what we're going to do. So the subconscious mind is bullying the situation, because this is when the emotions come through and start ruling the whole process. And so, Brother Shem, I know you got something to add on to that, because this makes us crazy in this society. What do you have to add or to share in reference to how the emotions take over the body, block the spirit, and move forward, move us into a place that we probably really don't want to be?
Absolutely. What I like what you said about the subconscious is bullying, us, because what the subconscious, when you look at it, it only operates by what is already within that program. In other words, we'll become almost like on autopilot with the subconscious, which we didn't take control of in the beginning. You see what I'm saying? So you're trying to drive a Tesla, but the Tesla is wired wrong. You know what I'm saying? So it's not going to take you where you want to go. But that said, that's why we get back to the affirmations. It's so powerful. You said want, and I think I'm saying this correctly. Want is not affirmative, right? Because if you say, well, I want to quit smoking, or I want to lose weight, you will always be wanting. You will never be there. The subconscious mind doesn't deal with that. The subconscious mind deals in a constant state of the now. That's why the power of I am is so important. That I am affirmation is always important, because I am, like I am that I am, that's God. That's the God state of reality manifesting in itself. And I thought about it. McDonald's is very slick because they made a jingle and it said, ba 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 ba, I'm loving it. I'm as I am. So it really had you in the concept of being there, even if you didn't love it. You say they put the affirmation in a song. But that's the power of suggestion. I speak about that in my book. What is the devil sometimes called? The power of suggestion. You have subliminal seduction and subliminal suggestion. I am grateful. I am well. I am loved. I am divine. All these different affirmations. Then you get to bring that into reality, into fruition. So that's very key for us as a people to really operate in that dynamic. So we can change, like I said, keep changing the paradigm, because you don't want to be in a space where you're constantly being ran through by the obstacles of life. That's really important in that. And I will also just say this, and then I'll yield. I would say that in more science, we say that heaven is not a place of meets and bounds, it's a state of mind. So we are creators and create our own heaven and hell. So what we're really doing with the power of the subconscious mind is knowing that through the programming or reprogramming of our subconscious mind, we create our own state of what we call heaven here on earth, as opposing to going to the default of hell. That is the result of the programming that's placed on us, through whether it's through media, false education, miseducation, and the like. So I just want to just say that and pass that back to you, brother.
It's so powerful what you're saying, and so and the subconscious is so subtle. It's not loud, but it responds to emotion. And I love what you were talking about, suggestion. Some people have read the book Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, and Think and Grow by Dennis Kimbro, and Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I used to read these books when I was in sales and marketing and things of that nature. And in the auto suggestion, it's just like planting a seed. It's the subliminal messages, and it's crazy because there are things that we totally disregard. We don't think that it has enough firepower to influence us. But then we start having abnormal behavior. And one of the things about it, when we're looking at how do we influence this, how do we change it? Well, I want to show you what happens, because there is I am is God, and we say this, in anything added unto I am is added unto you, is added unto me. All right. So this is why I was really a great example of someone who influenced their subconscious mind was Muhammad Ali. I mean, he was very vocal and very emotional about the I am. Okay. And everybody thought he was braggadocious. They thought he was cocky and arrogant, but he was using the power of I am to create his reality, to overcome a lot of things in a time that was very difficult for melanated people. And so some of us are going through some difficult situations right now. And so we have to be affirmative in our approach to how we want to command the mind, or the subconscious mind, to change. And so you hear me talking about, the karmic behavior all the time. The subconscious mind has this thing on autopilot. It knows, it's recorded all your habits. It's recorded when you talk about folks, right? It's recorded when you gossip. It's recorded when you're in a low emotional state, how you respond with anger, how your patience are thin, right? It records everything and then plays it right back to you. And you know what we do oftentimes is we judge it. That's the first thing that we do. We judge it with emotion. And so what we're doing is putting gas in the tank and say, hey, bring that back to me. You know, and so we got to, I love saying is we got to stop, look, and listen to what's going on in our life. And if it's not the way we want it to, we need to take inventory of some of these blockages, or when I say blockage, I'm talking about thoughts that's been repressed and suppressed, any trauma. And we have to go back in and understand that even though there was trauma, it doesn't have power over the God in us to run our lives. Even if it was, you know, if we're suggesting, and I teach this expansive mind training in the Hollow Mind Perceiver, that our whole mind is the cosmos, that we have access to every dimension. We have access to 100 million years of knowledge that we hadn't remembered in our cerebellum. And you're telling me a 6-year-old memory, and I'm 50 now, is going to dominate my thought process? That's a 1/10 linear mind program that's telling me that. That's a child that's telling me, and that's in charge of my present future right now, that this is how this is going to operate, because we never resolved it within ourselves. And some things are traumatic. I mean, it gets deep. It really does. But if we want to influence our subconscious mind, it's great to start addressing our karmic behavior and our dispositions and our attitudes about different things and different people, because anytime we point the finger at one person, there's 3 pointing back at us. And so anytime I'm about to judge somebody, I say, where did this happen 3 times in my own life, or somebody I knew? Where did I judge it? And so this is how I've been able to get myself free from the blockages, because now the emotion from that experience is no longer prevalent. And so this is disrupting the subconscious program. I want to say this as well, and we'll wrap up here in a minute. In the Hollow Mind Perceiver, in the book of Transcendence, it talks about this. What this does, it creates a false self. And it creates an illusion that everything that you're experiencing that's showing up is permanent. They call it the circumstantial persona. That this personality, and this is why if you're going to evolve, you're going to have to get rid of your personality. A lot of people don't want to. They like their personality. But their personality is a set of programs that and stories that continue to draw certain circumstances into your life. You know that story you tell every time you get around people you just meet, or every time people ask, hey, how you doing, man? Listen, you know I didn't go to medical school. Or, hey, I didn't make the NBA or the NFL. I had children and all this kind of stuff. So that kind of followed me, but I met a guy and we got this story. And when we mess up our story, we're in trouble, because now we don't have anything to get excited or talk about. So now we have to create a new experience. It could be a worse or it could be a better experience. Okay, but that circumstantial persona, that false self, that is an illusion that's appearing as if it is the God that is the source of all creation, is the problem. So this is why, family, I talk about self-acceptance, accepting the fact that you are the source and the creator of your experience. Now that's hard to do if you've been in church your whole life and you think something outside of you is doing it. Okay. Well, that means that you're a victim of circumstance. That means that you have to wait for this energy to say it's okay for you to have this or do that or whatever. But what we need to do is make sure that we're in alignment with our divinity, right? And so once we say we're the source and the creator of our experience, now we can take responsibility and change it. That don't mean it's going to be easy, but now we can change it. And when we start making changes, let me tell you what happens. We become empowered within ourselves. This is what self-empowerment is, that you now have the power over the blockages, the power over your subconscious mind to live the life